Hello and welcome to Berlin's 96 localities. In this episode I am in Schlachensee, a locality in the very southwest of Berlin. It's super humid today, 8 a.m., but already more than 20 degrees Celsius. I hope it will be a great tour nevertheless. Before we start the tour, let's take a look at the map. Of all of Berlin's localities, Schlachtensee is the newest one. It was established in 2020 from parts of the neighbor localities Nikolassee and Zehlendorf. A bit more than 10,000 people live now on an area of approximately 4 square kilometers. The southwest of Berlin is an area of high living quality because of many green spaces and a lot of water. Schlachtensee is close to both the Havel and the Grunewald. A closer look reveals, however, that it is squeezed in between the Stadtautobahn Avus and the Bundesstraße 1 Potsdamer Chaussee. By public transport you can get to Schlachtensee by the S-Bahn Line 1 to S-Schlachtensee. The fastest connection to Berlin main station is via S-Nikolassee and takes approximately 27 minutes. Well, I haven't mentioned the highlight yet. This is the 42-hectare lake of the same name. The lake that I mentioned is actually right in front of me, so if I turn around, you can see parts of it. The water is very clear, there are already some swimmers on the way, and I'm going to follow the banks of the lake. The name Schlachtensee is something like Lake of the Battles or Lake of Battles. And, oh, there's a little sparrow. I hope that this will be exciting, and later we're gonna go to a student's village that I know from some 15 years ago or so, and we will also look for, anything special here in this locality. So let's go. Because of the shape, it is impossible to see the whole lake from any point of its banks. The water is super clear, and if I was keen on swimming, I would probably have given it a try. I'm not so familiar with swimming on open spaces though. I guess it contains a certain risk as there is no lifeguard around here as far as I know. If you want to find out more on the lake while strolling around, you are of course invited to check one of those typical German information tables full of more or less useful information. Besides swimming, you can also do stand-up paddling or, and this is much more of my taste, hang out by a large beer garden. A path grants public access to the banks, which is awesome for a walk, running or biking. In the meantime, you can fantasize about these large mansions next to the lake. Fortunately, some of the banks are reserved for wildlife. Fences protect those areas, and you may encounter some funny fellows like this one, or even a whole family of most adorable ducks. So after having walked part of the banks of the Schlachtensee, it's time for a breakfast for me. I will enjoy this one, and then I really need to grab a coffee because, well, there's lovely nature here, but I haven't seen any coffee shops so far. So I'm going back towards the more commercial area, and I hope to find some coffee over there. And until then, I will enjoy this bread. You can consider Breisgauer Straße, named after a region in Germany's southwest, the high street of Schlachtensee. It crosses the S-Bahn station and subsequently offers a modest amount of opportunities to do errands or buy a couple of things. The house number 4 is so spectacular that I have to share it with you. I've seen many houses in Berlin, but this is really outstanding to me. On the other side of the street, you will find a lovely Wochenmarkt that, according to the sign, is there every Tuesday and Friday. It offers a variety of high-quality food like vegetables, meat, cheese and bread. Heading further south with the fresh coffee, I leave the commercial area and encounter old apartment blocks, probably from the 1930s, leaving me with somewhat mixed feelings. I have had my coffee and I have reached an interesting square. If you have watched some of my episodes, you know that I'm interested in the names of squares and roads here in Berlin. And this one's named Guernica-Platz, Guernica Square. So it's referring to a Spanish town that you might have heard of because there is a famous painting by Pablo Picasso. And the painting subject is an air raid back in 1937 by German planes. And this square is in honor of the victims of this air raid, and it is sort of a counterweight to the name of the alley in the background, because the name is Spanische Allee, that is Spanish alley, so the country Spain. But that name was chosen back in 1939, as this shield tells, to honor the return of the Legion Condor. So I think the ones that were involved in these air raids, which means that the name Spanish Alley was chosen by the Nazis, and it's very problematic. But so the counterweight is that they chose to name this square Guernica-Platz for the victims and for the town in Spain. Leaving Guernica-Platz, I pass more of those old and sinister apartment blocks. Here and there I do see a modern building, however. In the middle of this darkness, I find a small walled square with the most beautiful flowers and a lot of insects. Down the road, I see a weird mural on a large building. Getting closer, I realize it is a school right on the border of the locality. In the center of the mural, there is a clock. Many generations of pupils must have had a last look on this one hurrying to school in the morning. It's cool that close to the school I encounter a rolling library. It stops here to give some kids the opportunity to borrow a book. I have reached the entrance of the students' village of the Studentendorf Schlachtensee, and this is going to be the final stop of today. So this students' village is remarkable because it is a cultural landmark. It was built a few decades ago, and it was supported, I think, by the USA, which were controlling this part of West Berlin, or, well, yeah, supporting it. And these houses are quite small. They look a bit like shoeboxes, you will see in the footage. And I was here some 15 years ago. A friend of mine was living here. And I'm excited to find out what has changed over that time. You know, usually in Germany, when you go to university, you move to another city, and you either share a flat in the city, or you go to a student's village or students' apartment blocks. And yeah, I will have a look for you guys, and then I would like to thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this tour, and I hope to see you soon. Take care. Cheers.